My mother was actually, I think, liberated before women use that term, liberated. And when she'd put me to sleep at night, instead of asking little normal questions of a child like, how was school today, or did you learn something, or would you like to hear about sex, or anything like that, she said, now let's talk about how you're going to have a career and not seek your identity through being Mrs. Somebody. I wasn't very good about working for people. There was just something that wasn't going to be very good in my personality. The most wonderful thing happened. I was fired, and a friend said, had you ever thought of being an agent? And I had actually never thought of being an agent. I knew it was a group that I didn't exactly aspire to be a member of, but that's what she thought I should do, because she said, you love actors, you're always going to the theater, Susan, you'd be great. So I went around and I had several really dispiriting interviews, to say the least, and I thought, I could do this and I could be nice, and there's a place for a nice person. And it's truly what spurred me to do it, because no one else would hire me. And I was engaged to be married, and he lent me $5,000, and everybody wants to know if I paid him back, and I always did, yes. And I opened an office on 42nd Street in New York with no clients. And it's now over 38 years, so it just worked out. Of the group that I look out for currently, Brian Denny, he's been with me 30 years, Kathy Bates, 26 years, Bob Balaban, 15, Graham Greene, 19, David Paymer, 28, Richard Masur, 34, Liza Snyder, 18, Melanie Linsky, almost 15, Greta Scacchi, off and on since she was 21. She left me once for 4 years. Charlie Dance for over 20 years. And it's like my family. And the actors in New York would all come around. They would say, Marion Doherty is casting this movie. Marion Doherty, Marion Doherty, Marion. So I would say to these actors, oh no, I called over there and they said there's just nothing going on. And I did believe that for a very long time, until one evening, a Friday night, at 7:30, I was in the office. I get this call. Is Susan Smith there, please? And well, hello, it was just me. And I said, oh yes, this is she. Oh, she said, this is Marion Doherty. And I said, oh, the Marion Doherty? And she said, well, yes. And she said, I wondered if you could help me. Well, I had 12 clients at the time. So I'm sitting there looking at my little client list. And she said, I'm looking for a very handsome 55-year-old actor, classically trained. And I'm sitting there thinking, I have this very person, she said, who's a full-blooded American Indian. And there was a pause, and I said to her, I think I have someone for you. And she said, you do? And I went into this long song and dance of how I'd never seen him in a play, but I had heard him do a reading a few nights earlier to raise money for a Navajo reservation, and I thought he really read Shakespeare well, and after all, I had been to England, so I had seen how they do Shakespeare. I'm going on and on and on, and of course, in hindsight, I now would remember the fact that she could have cared less about all this. She just wanted to see the friggin' Indian. So anyway, she said, just get him to Arthur Hiller, Monday morning, 8:30. It's one of the leads in Paddy Chayefsky's movie, The Hospital, with George C. Scott. And I said, okay. And then I hung up and I thought, how am I going to find this Indian? I don't know where he is. I spent the whole weekend trying to find Arthur Junaluska. I found him. He got there at 8:30 Monday morning. 8:45, Marion called me and she said, well, we loved Arthur and he just got the job. And I said, oh, that's so wonderful. And she said, and that will be 7 weeks at scale. And I said, oh, thank you. And so I didn't, of course, realize till quite a while later that you don't just say, oh, thank you, at 7 weeks at scale. I really did have an upper hand there, but I wasn't aware of that. So, but then she said to me, well, who are you? And I said, well, I'm kind of this young person who just sort of started an agency. And she said, well, who else do you represent there? And I said, well, I have this actress named Mary Beth Hurt, and I sent Mary Beth to her. She got a movie, and I said, I found this girl I really like a lot named Glenn Close, and she said, I don't know her, send her over. Then she got GARP, and it just became that way. Every sort of person that I had, she just loved and put in movies. And I think psychologically that was the real beginning of my feeling that maybe I really could do this. There are 79 agents who belong to the Academy. And they have never let us vote, even for the Best Picture. And I remember one year I was particularly agitated about this state of affairs. And Faye Kanan was the head of the Motion Picture Academy at the time. And I was talking to her about, she wanted Miranda Richardson, whom I represented, to do something or other for the Academy. And I said, I have absolutely no problem with Miranda doing anything. But I said, while I have you on the phone, Kay, and I could tell that was sort of a balloon that burst at that moment, said, I just need to tell you, though, why I have such an issue with the fact you won't let agents even vote for Best Picture. And she said, because you have nothing to do with getting movies made. And I said, funny, I've thought that that's what I've done every day for all these years. Passion and good energy and love, all those things, they're deeply infectious. And it's too easy to be infected by negativity and the bad, grumpy people around you. And also, there's a lot of, to me, unethical and dishonest people. I don't have any traction with those people. And I never have. I always believe in calling people on bad behavior. I've never felt that since I'm an agent, oh my God, I have to, I need this person, I have to do that. No, because I think that's a way to devalue yourself by your position. And I think that's what good work's about. It's a form of being honorable. And respect has always been the word that I have actually actively tried to live my life about. I purchase joy from the fact I'm alive and that I'm healthy, and there's a reason I've come through what I've come through, because I wasn't supposed to live. So that's what my joy is. And I have some wonderful friends, and I really like my life. I hope that people will remember me as somebody who was different, did it her own way, didn't hurt people, at least intentionally, was honorable, with great taste, and was respected. If I have that, I've lived a great life.